Welcome to Your Backyard Iowa. We're going to do some hunting tips for you today. What I'm going to do is shoot in this muzzle loader. First thing I like to do before I get started with it is I like to put one of these primers in and shoot it so that I can be assured that for whatever reason the last time I used this gun I didn't accidentally leave a bullet in it, because you definitely don't want to double load. Plus this will clear any small obstructions that might be in your gun. So I'm going to assume this gun is actually, you probably always want to assume the gun is loaded, but I'm fairly certain it's not. What I'm going to do is put this 209 primer in, close the gun. I'm basically going to go ahead and just point it where I know it's safe, straight to the ground. Pull back, prepare just in case it's not. Okay, now when you do that, you would have noticed, had you been looking down here, that I saw the grass and stuff move. If you watch right here below where I'm looking at, you see that, Thomas? Mm-hmm. When I pull that back, again, I brace myself. Okay, you could tell that moved. That tells me, in fact, I've got a clear gun, so I can go ahead and load this gun without fear of there being another load already in here from the last time that I hunted. But I've got my gun cleared, and I know basically I'm unloaded. I'm going to go ahead and load it prior to putting in the primer. Now, there's a couple different ways you can go. With the muzzle loaders themselves, you can utilize either powder version or you can use these pellets. I'm using the pellets today, so what I'm going to do is drop the pellets into the gun. Okay, and I can hear them actually both hit the bottom there. Now I'm going to go ahead and load my bullet. Your bullets will typically have a sabot with it, and then the bullet that'll go behind it. The sabot is actually what pushes the bullet out of the muzzle loader. So what I'll do is get it started into the tip. Now I like to have some sort of starting tool like this one here. Sometimes they make some small caps where you can get on it to sort of get it started, because you want to get it pushed down in, okay? And then you can get on it with one of these smaller starters here and go ahead and push it straight down, okay? Now that I've got it started, I can go ahead and push my ramrod. Okay. And then I like to lightly bump mine. Now you'll want to know where your home point is on your rod. And that's going to vary depending on whether you're using the powder or the pellets themselves. But once you know where that's at, it should be the same position every time. Again, I like to just give it a slight bump, and then I'm basically ready to shoot. All right. The last thing prior to getting ready to shoot now is I'm going to basically load my primer in, and we're going to line up on this target. Now, if you're just getting started, if you've got a new gun with a new scope, you want to start off at about 25 yards because you have no idea really where that alignment's going to go. Now, once you get within 25 yards, you want to use some sort of stable setup so that you can position the gun so it's not going to move. Get as stable a setup as you can. Set your crosshairs in on the center of the target. Now, when you make your target, don't go get a big target. I mean, in this case, I've got a large white piece of paper, but I'm actually zeroing in on a small black dot. You want to look at a small target to be able to sight these in. That way, you actually get a nice focal point there. So what we're going to do is, if I were going to just start out, I start out at 25 yards, and I would center it, take my first shot. Now, you can start off, I like to start off by moving my bullet right and left first before I worry about up and down, okay? Now, most of the scopes, well, probably all of the scopes, will have adjustment caps on the side and on the top, okay? If you look at the adjustment cap on this one, I'll go ahead and unscrew it. Okay? It has a small dial on it, and this dial has a L for left and then an arrow showing me the direction to move it. It usually will also indicate how far it's going to use. So in 100 yards, it's going to move this 1/4 of an inch. Now remember, you want to start out close, but once you've got it sighted in fairly close to start off with, now you want to go ahead and sight your gun in at 100 yards. Now this one happens to be a 1/4 click equals 100 yards. So if I were at my 100-yard spot here and I sighted in, let's say for example I shoot 2 inches to the right. That means I need to move my bullet left 2 inches. So I would turn in the left direction 8 clicks because I'm at a 1/4 inch, right? 8 clicks equals 2 inches. I'd turn it 8 clicks, put my target or put my cover back on, line back up, take my shot again. Again, you want to be sure you pull off a good shot so that you can tell whether you need to move that or not. You may have to do this a few times so you get used to it, but once you understand which direction you're able to move it, you can get it sighted in right or left. Then you can go ahead and put this top on, And then you can do the same thing by moving the bullet up and down, by moving the top clicker, okay, which is generally located on the top of your scopes. And some scopes might be a little different. They might also be different as far as the ratio that they move them to. This one happens to be a quarter click equals 1 click equals a quarter of an inch. So the same thing here. It'll have, this particular one shows up to the right. You always want to turn it in the direction you want the bullet to go. So if this one says up to the left and I needed to move it down, then I need to click it to the right. Again, quarter of an inch for every click. Okay? And it's just basically trial and error till you get there. Let's see what we can do with this bad boy. So now I've basically got my table set up here. You want to use something that's going to be stable, okay? We've got a little table here with adjustable legs that allows me to set it up. And then basically we've got a bag on here that's going to allow me to rest the gun on it, okay? Of course, you always want to have your safety glasses on and some ear protection here. Thomas might not have ear protection, but... Am I talking too loud? Am I talking too loud? All right. Now, so I'm going to open my gun up, and I'm going to take my primer here, put it in the gun, click it in. Now, the most important thing is you need to be comfortable before you pull off a shot, okay? You want the gun to be situated and not moving. So what I like to do is take a couple of practice squeezes without having it locked in. Always being careful not to have it aimed toward anybody. And of course, if you're at a gun range, you'll have to be set away. Bang. So once you've got a comfortable set, you want to pull your safety back or your hammer back. Dead deer. Smoke. Just like that, folks. Keep in mind, if the bullet is right, you want to move it left, turn it the direction. If it's high or low, you want to turn the clicker that moves it in the direction. You guys get out and enjoy a safe year hunting this year. Be sure to get those guns shot in. And then if you happen to have any errors, it's not a bad idea if you drop it or something during the year to get out and reshoot it again. This is Rob Welch for In Your Backyard, Iowa.